Hello, Be Awesome listeners. We are at episode 11. Hard to believe. Just a couple short months ago, episode 1 was under the peach tree. I am in San Antonio, Texas this morning, where it's actually like 10 degrees cooler here than it is in Massachusetts. Down here doing a speaking engagement. And for those of you that listened to the Santa Claus episode, I mentioned John and Katy Garcia at Alpha Facility Solutions and their commitment to 100 shirts. That was pretty incredible and a kind of an easy set point for the type of people that they are. The shirts were meant to bring something to help with the awareness of homeless kids and foster kids in the United States, which I wasn't aware of. Over 3 million today. And Santa kind of brought that awareness to me, and I wanted to do something, give back the $3 per shirt, and John and Katy heard about it and made a commitment to it right out of the gate. That's a testament to who they are. I've been very privileged, and a lot of this Be Awesome movement is not about me. It's about everything around me, and what's around me is a lot of awesome, a lot of great people, a lot of encouragement, positivity, and it's not just because life's great every day. It's because you work through it and you work together with it. And so I'm down here. I'm going to be speaking to John and Katy's company today, and I'm sitting in their poker room. I got to spend the last couple of hours actually learning so much while I've known them for so long, learning so much about them. John and Katy have been working together. I'm going to ask some of the questions, but they work together at Alpha Solutions. They've been married for a long time. One of the most incredible sights I've seen in a long time was walking through their garage and seeing the pickup truck, John's first pickup truck that they went on their first date in 1974 is the pickup truck.
It's a 68 pickup.
68 in 1974. So welcome, guys. Thank you for having me. Now I've got a first in the poker room in San Antonio doing a podcast. So we got peach trees, we got hotel rooms. Where we go next, I don't know. But welcome and thank you. Thank you for your support.
Thanks for having us.
Tell us a little bit about you guys. Let's go back to the pickup truck and talk about there to now. What do you got? What's your story?
High school painting houses, saved money to buy a 68 pickup truck in 1974 and polished the paint off of it, drove it to high school, drove it to college, met Katy between freshman and sophomore year in college and started dating late that summer in the pickup truck. Married the fall after we graduated in 1980, and then the pickup truck drove to pilot training in the Air Force and all over the country. And then family started growing and money got tight and figured, well, truck's in good shape. Might as well go ahead and cash it in. And Katy said, nope, you're not selling that truck. the truck is still here and still gets pampered, and it's now literally up on a podium, but ready to roll at any time.
That's right.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you guys take it out on date night still? Or you guys,
For some reason, she don't want to go to Sonic anymore.
Yeah.
I don't understand
Yeah.
Occasionally he'll pull it down and we'll go tooling around the neighborhood in it. And it's so prized that I don't like it parked in a parking lot at all.
Yeah.
It's got to be very protected. So it is.
Yeah.
It's a special vehicle.
It's a geriatric truck at this point, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm glad I'm only pampering it when Katy's in it.
Yeah. Well, that's great. One of the things that I encourage people is to have, visuals, reminders, and I think that's probably from an emotional standpoint. And I'm sure that truck has seen ups and downs and all arounds in your relationship.
Mm-hmm. And the whole family.
Yeah. And every time you walk by it, something has to hit and tingle and go, oh yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And
most recent, our oldest daughter, she got married to her husband's family ranch in San Angelo on the shores of the Concho River, South Concho River, in a pecan grove. And the one thing she was dead set on was getting married there, but also being taken to the altar, the made-up altar by the river, in that truck. So drove her down the muddy hill, through a field, mudding, sliding, in her wedding dress, and pulled her up to the aisle between the rows of church pews that Katy found online somewhere that got set out there, and that was the latest great showing of the truck. I think its next great showing is in a week when Kimberly, our second daughter, is going to get married, and they want to drive off in the red truck. So.
Wow, that's the popularity of the red truck. I might have to go back and get a picture of it so that I can put it out on social media so people understand the red truck.
Yeah, the ones that have gotten to ride in it the most lately are those blown up swans you see in the back of it right now.
Yeah, I did notice that. I didn't know if there was anything. I didn't know if that was just pool storage.
It's pool storage, but we think it looks pretty good. The truck's got permanent residence almost.
Yeah. No, that's great, and congratulations with Kimberly's upcoming wedding. I can remember when she was doing the tryouts for American Idol.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was one of the first times I met you guys, and I was having a small party at my friend Greg's bar, The Office in Myrtle Beach, and you guys volunteered her to come down and sing, and she not only sang, but she sang Happy Birthday to one of our clients that was having his birthday there. I mean, just lights out, phenomenal singer. And just another example of just doing the right things or just doing something and always being, thinking about that. In today's world, it's really easy to go, I know we talked about this over the last couple hours, that, I know some people that are really successful professionally, if you were to look at their balance sheet, but they're really not successful personally in my opinion, as a human. They're not good people to others. And, one of the things that I've always caught on about you guys is you have a real appreciation for humans. You have a real appreciation for people. Mm-hmm. And I guess it comes naturally, but there's got to be times in your life when it doesn't. And there's got to be times in your life when you're running a successful business. I mean, hands down, you guys are one of the best in what you do, and you're doing a great job. And you're doing it together, which is like, that's a trifecta for just a difficult life, right? Like most families... don't smile and get along and have fun and do all this stuff. How do you do that every day? Like, how do you guys wake up every day with, whether it's on purpose, intentional, forced, not natural, whatever? How do you guys just go through every day? Because the second piece of that is this: what people don't see in leaders today, a lot of the times, is the stress that you take on. Mm-hmm. So you guys have roughly 100 employees. That's 100 checks you got to send every couple weeks. That's 400 family members, and then the trickle down effect of that, and the communities that they support, and everything else. Right. Like, how do you guys do it so incredibly? Like, it seems easy. It seems like what you guys do is easy, and I know it's got to be immense.
Watching a PGA golfer's golf swing seems easy too. So thanks. It's a great compliment.
Good point. Good point.
No, but to you're a great example. Also, you just do it. You do what you do because you do what you say you're going to do, right?
Yeah.
And Katy and I've got no different outlook than that on life or anything else we engage in. Same with our girls. Is we say we're going to do something, we'll do it, and we've pointed that in a direction that's not about us. It's about others. So the three-legged stool that we found all of our efforts and put our energy into is in the business, taking care of the client, taking care of the people, taking care of the client, and then take care of the organization. So there's no I or me or us in that. And when the team grows to 100 and the client list grows to several hundreds, there's a lot to focus on way outside of anything that's the petty stress related. I'm not feeling real good about me right now. Well, too bad. There's a whole lot of people to focus on that'll be of benefit to them and all those around them, and that will all come back full circle. So just be patient, and things will work out.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, and Katy was sharing with me that some of the changes that you guys are going through with accounting, softwares, and all this stuff, and one of the things that's something that I've tried to look at things in this whole new Be Awesome idea, as far as the people that you want to be around. And I was driving over here this morning. I actually stayed down by the river walk, or by the waterfront there.
Uh-huh.
partly because I have my business experience actually started in San Antonio. It'll be a story for another day, but I learned about the importance of knowing what per diem is when you go out with coworkers to Morton's of Chicago. And there's 4 of you, and you're the new guy, and the check comes, and Scott says, "Oh, just put it on your per diem," and you realize that your per diem's like $34 a day in 1996.
So that covered one of the appetizers.
That covered one of the appetizers. But I wanted to say, I hadn't been down in that area in a while, but I was driving and I was thinking about it, and I was sitting here saying, and part of my Be Awesome, this whole thing about the learning experiences from podcasts to the shirt to figuring out how to write a book when you don't know how to write and all this other stuff. The reality of what I'm learning is that the people that are successful because they keep going. Mm-hmm. They're not successful because they take the time to think about what it is that's wrong or how it is it's wrong. They just go to fix it, right? It's like, hey, this isn't working. All right, let's find a solution to it. This isn't working. Let's not dwell on it. Let's move and execute. Let's not drag our feet.
Let's move on to the next play.
Right, and it's not all going to work.
No,
but we do a really good job at showing that it works, right? Because if we show that we don't work, then it trickles down to the rest of the team, and then
and nobody works.
Correct. Then nobody works.
True.
So how long you guys been working together? Like, when did you start all this?
Oh, Alpha Facility Solutions started in 2007.
Okay.
And John decided that he could do it. And we had Cassie in college and Kimberly wanting to go to college and Samantha just kind of in the middle of high school. And I said, sure, let's take the life savings and do this. Let's do it. I believe in you. And we jumped in with both feet, and it's worked because of the 3 things that we focus on with regard to the company. Client, people, and company.
Yeah. But it very quickly became, that it's the recipe that keeps playing over and over and over again. And you've seen this, and you're part of it, and you lead it. It's teamwork makes the dream work.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And with the very first team members that came on board with tiny little tasks to do that we got paid a little bit for, that core group of founders, were willing to go without pay.
Yes.
For X amount of time to make it work. So, it was not us in lock, stock, and barrel. There was others that said, oh, okay, yeah, we'll throw in. You guys already took the biggest risk in our opinion, so we're in. And then that wheel continues to roll.
So I know how old your kids are, so I can gauge you both look very young. So I hope that I don't offend you. I hope I don't offend you. And I'm just going to say, how old were you, John, when you decided to take a chance with everything in the situation? How old were you?
48.
48. So I only say that, and I didn't know if you were older or younger than what I was thinking. I'll say that you were much older than I was thinking. I think that's the way to make it a compliment.
Okay, yeah. I've had gray hair since I was in high school.
That money to get for the truck caused a lot of stress.
You thought that was painting my
But no, I say that only because there's a lot of people out there, and I had to say that I was really in this boat as well. That people get into this time crunch. Like they think it's too late for them to do something. It's too late for them to make a change. And it's not go out and start a big company with 100 employees. It's not. It can be something simple, but the point is it's never too late. Yep. One of the biggest motivators for me this year, and I was in it. I had a son at 42. I've got an 11-year-old, a 9-month-old now. But I went through. I don't want to say it was a midlife crisis, but it was a point where I was like, I haven't done what I want to do, but I don't think I have the time to do it, and I think it's too late. And for whatever reason, and if you go to my LinkedIn page, you can see a story titled 1 in a Million, which is I did a search on a company my mother worked at, where there's 1 million results, and the number 1 result is a video that my mother was in from 1984, and it was from a company named Gloria Stevens Figure Salons, and I happened to have a conversation with O.J. Mulkey, who was the founder. And this was in this past April, and I was talking to him, and he's like, it's the 40th anniversary of what Gloria Stevens would have been, her 50th anniversary. And I was like, well, how old were you when you started this? Because I've been trying to get his age from him. He never told me his age. Still dances to this day. He's late 80s. But he was 42. And he put it all out there. And I'm like, it was just before my 43rd birthday. Yeah. And I'm sitting here saying, well, it's not too late. We still got time. You know, as long as we're here and as long as we're upright and as long as we have the passion to do something, we can do it. Yep. And it's that effort of continuing and forcing yourself and not stopping and not allowing failure as an option. That a lot of people don't see. Yeah. Right? A lot of people don't see the sleepless nights, the worry, the strain, the stress, and all this other stuff that goes with it. They just see the successful side and then they get discouraged. Like, how do I get there? Right? How do I get to the poker room? Right? But there's a lot that goes to it, and it's actually the most exciting part. I think
it is.
John and I were talking about this for a few minutes, and I think that the most exciting time that I'll have with Be Awesome is right now. I think it'll be exciting, but this is like,
these are the new good old days.
Right, right. This is like learning everything, you know, learning about business all over again. As my dad and I had a spring water business in the late 90s, early 2000s, but it's changed a lot. Understanding the different pieces to business, understanding QuickBooks. I mean, that's a pain in the neck in itself.
It is.
But all the facets and pieces that go to it, and your brain's just going, and then everybody, like you say, is all in. Like getting people engaged and having a mission, right? And that's what you guys had. You guys had a commitment to a mission, and you were going to make a difference for your clients, and you were going to do that through yourselves and with your team, and they bought into it. And I'm sure you've got a lot of employees. You probably haven't had anybody leave since 2007, or very, very few people leave.
Our turnover's been pretty small.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would say so. So what? You got any words of wisdom? Anything to tell people? I mean, anything that you think that the world would want to hear about as far as how to embrace life, how to embrace relationships, get through the tough times. Not everybody can have a pickup truck to look at, but is there anything that helps you guys immensely when things are tough and challenging to keep that Be Awesome attitude?
Absolutely. Yeah. There is something that John, who mentors a great number of young individuals, and some that are closer to his age. It's, I am a firm believer you can't have enough mentors. Surround yourself with good people. But he always tells them, to be patient and persistent and passionate about where you want to go. And those 3 P's will get you through pretty much everything. Yeah. And then when life gets you to that super stressed level, and you're losing sleep because you've got 8 people in Japan and 8 people in some part of Europe, and somebody's wife has got a sick father, and you're worried about the issues involved in that stress as a business owner, and that is, God will only give you what you can handle and nothing more. So you just got to look at it that way. You can handle it, whatever it is. So that's what gets me up every day. Yeah. Knowing I can handle it. So, and I get to handle it with a friend.
Yeah. 3 P's, that's great. Yeah. That's good stuff.
That's helped 2 daughters. You reflected earlier about Danny, your 11-year-old son. You've experienced him and his growing, acumen for looking at life and business as a part of life, and how proud, moments can be surprises, and they're always going to be coming that way. But with our girls following the 3P philosophy and seeing them trying to practice, and they do practice it, and creating, just unbridled success in their own rights is as exciting as doing it yourself, if not more so.
Yeah, because you're seeing it that pass on, right? And you're seeing, a lot of people probably think about life, and they want to get to a point where they can, relax, not have to think about stuff as much, be comfortable, whatever it is. And the reality is, and that's something that I experienced a couple of times in this last 14 years of my career, is you get to a comfort level, right? You get cruise control.
Yeah.
And that's, my biggest challenge has been, or was, when a significant change happened. I got to this point where I would have a territory aligned. I'd have tons of clients and lots of things going on, and it started to get kind of easy. And then all of a sudden, they'd flip the script and they'd say, "Oh, all right, you're going to go do this completely different, completely new." And I'd be like, "Oh no, I'm out of my comfort zone. I don't want to do this. I worked so hard to get to this point. There's no point. There's no stopping. There shouldn't be a stopping. It's the people that get the complacency and stopping.
So switch back up the mountain.
Right. And so, but it's a daily practice. And for you to be able to get your kids to embrace that means that the next generation is hopefully going to have the same success, accomplishment, and passion that you guys have, which is great, because not enough people have it. Right? You look around and, the whole thing is because I got frustrated seeing that there weren't a lot of people that were patient. I think on my first episode, I talked about the airport scenarios and people, wanting to rush home, and they don't care if they get on a broken plane. They want to get home. And I won't say that their persistence got them anywhere, but they sure were passionate in the way that they yelled at it. But they used all the P's. They used all the P's completely wrong, right? Right? They just completely backfired. So they probably took your advice and did the opposite. Like, if I use the 3 P's, I did something, right? But really, they did nothing. But I think that's great advice, because the world's moving so fast.
Yeah.
I read an article that I think that the average human today consumes the equivalent of 174 or 176 newspapers.
I believe it.
Yeah. We're talking 25, 30 years ago, maybe. We got maybe two newspapers.
Yeah.
And you might have had some time to watch the news because you had all this other stuff going on. And now in a day, we're consuming the equivalent of right. We consume a year's worth in 2.5 days. Like, when you put that into perspective, we're on sensory overload. We're on high speed everything. That patience stuff kind of goes out the window. And we got to be patient with each other, most importantly. That I can say that I've struggled with at times. We all do. But understanding it and realizing it and seeing what others do with it. I was in Florida just last week. It was actually a week ago tomorrow. And I got to go to the Epcot Center, the Wine and Food Festival, which even though one day at Epcot's $110, it's worth it, because they make probably 100 food stations from all around the world, just little plates, and you pay like $5 a plate. But walking around and seeing people spend their hard-earned money to go someplace, happiest place on earth, to get there, to have an expedited schedule with your 4 and 5 and 6 year olds, to be on a time, we have to do this, and this. And when it doesn't go according to plan, you blow your gasket. Mm-hmm. This is supposed to be fun for the kid.
Yeah.
Like, you look at that stuff and you go, what happened?
Yeah.
Time out.
Like,
back up. If you're not just gonna take everything away and just say, let the chips fall where they may, let's just make sure that it's enjoyable. And let's have ultimate patience, because there's going to be 50,000 people too on top of that. So if we have to sit soaring for 2.5 hours, and it's a life experience, let's figure out something to do to make the time go by, and not look at the phones.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's absolutely great advice. So patience, persistence, and passion is I think a great way. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to share, or thoughts, or ideas, or?
I think keep doing what you're doing. You're awesome, Josh. And I think what you do is another life lesson that a lot of folks, I think, kind of skip by or don't pay attention to for some reason, is listen.
Yeah.
Just keep your ears open. Listen. It helps drive patience. And it also helps you gauge whether or not you're on track with what you're passionate about.
Yeah. Yeah, they say you get two ears and one mouth for a reason.
Yeah.
You listen twice as much as you talk. And that's something that I appreciate the comment, because as a public speaker, a lot of times you don't get a lot of time to talk to people. So every word that's said to you, it's very important to try to capture and process and figure out, because
you do it very well.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you guys welcoming me into your house. The coffee's been fantastic. Jake the dog was.
You got some Jake time?
Oh, I got some Jake time.
Oh, man.
Jake and I are like this. He tried to look mean, but that tail was wagging hard. But I really appreciate, most importantly, your friendship over the years, and I've learned a lot from you, and every interaction has been great. And for those of you out there that you work with people, one of the greatest things that you can do, I can tell you that things have not always gone smoothly with projects that we've worked together on, that we've partnered with. Everything hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been fine. But one of the greatest things that you can have in your life are people that you work with, that you work together, or that you're partnered with, that when things get sideways, you don't get upside down with them. You don't get angry. You don't put blame. You don't do anything. I can remember a project once, and one of their team members came to me, and it wasn't an accusatory. It wasn't an angry. It was, hey, something fell off here. Let's figure out how to fix it, and let's work together for resolution. And that's what you want to strive for. Find the great people. Find that great tribe of folks that you have that you can count on, and that when things get ugly, you don't get ugly with each other, because that makes everything that much easier when things don't go well and don't go smoothly. And that happens all the time. Mm-hmm. So think we're all happy-go-lucky. We are. We love each other, do great with each other, but things go wrong, and we work together to get proper resolution where everybody's happy. So really appreciate you guys giving me this time, this opportunity. I am going to go get a picture of the truck so people can get a visual of it. But that'll do it here for episode 11. Really appreciate everyone's support throughout this. I got another like on iTunes, so I'm up to 6. Donovan Loomis, you're still holding steady with the one actual worded recommendation for me, but I'm on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, basically any place you can listen to a podcast. You can listen to it on my website at beawesome.com. Really appreciate the ratings, whether it's 1 or 5 stars, and reviews, comments, shares, likes. That's how I get my word out, and that's how I get up the list. As a frame of reference, there were 538,000 podcast channels when I started this just a couple short months ago. There's over 550,000, and I got some report recently that said I'm in like 39,852 top podcasts or something like that. So you have a choice. You have 550,000 choices on a podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to mine. As always, you guys can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook under Be Awesome, or Joshua Peach on LinkedIn. I put quite a bit of stuff out there with updates. And my website, beawesome.com. Email is josh@beawesome.com. That's josh@beausm.com. And hope to keep those shirt orders coming, and give Santa a nice little check here coming this Christmas. I do have to give one last shout to David Varda, a great friend from Ohio who was in Florida last week and walked up to me and bought a shirt through PayPal. And when he went to walk away, I noticed that he made a payment of $100 for one shirt, and I told him that he put too much in, and he said, I'd like for the additional $75 to go to the charity. So just class act, incredible people that are not looking at this just as buying a shirt. They're looking at it as a movement to make a difference, and that's what this is all about. So for the time being, always remember to do awesome. You got to be awesome. Have a great week.